Limited, Mrs. B Limited, Mrs. C Limited, or Mrs. D Limited. Invariably, this happens. You will not be working on one single project. And this is such a common scenario, especially when you are a consultant, not an end user. You will be working on n number of projects in your career as a consultant. Maybe as a junior consultant, you'll be working on only one project. As a senior consultant, you may still be working on one project, or maybe say 2 projects. Tomorrow you're a team lead. You'll be handling 3 or 4 projects. You're a project manager. You'll be handling 5 or 6 projects. So like this, how do you enter into a specific system? Suppose you are attending a query of Mrs. A Limited. The client will be different. So simply said, it is the logical space by which the SAP system understands on what you're working on which system you are working on. Am I clear? I will pause here for maybe say 2 or 3 minutes. I will just stay quiet and I will take up the questions if you have any. Now it is 3:12. I will stay quiet till 3:15 and I will leave it open for questions after 3:50. All right. Please just try to understand whatever I'm telling you. You can stop me if I'm fast or if I'm explaining too much. Clear? So till 3:15, you need to just think about whatever has happened and come back to me with your questions. Kunal, do we have any questions? Hi, Kunal. You're all able to hear to me? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Perfect. So, Kunal, I just saw a few questions as to they would want me to show this on the live SAP system. I don't know when this is going to be possible, but if it is possible, definitely I'm going to show this on the SAP system. Okay, you don't have to worry about it. But more than you getting hands-on the SAP system, you need to understand these concepts or these new terms so that working on the SAP system becomes much more easier. You do not have, by the end of this course, we don't expect you to become experts and you don't have to show me whatever on the SAP system. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. You are supposed to. Now I got a few questions. What is a client? We will come back to that. Okay. So what is a client? And please confirm if you have understood also. Okay. So that it will become more and more. It will help me to understand if you have all understood the concept, because these are the building blocks. Tomorrow you may take up SAP as your career or you may not take up. It's wonderful. It's fair enough. Not a problem. But if at all after the course, if somebody has asked, somebody is asking you, please tell me very basic things about SAP. You should be in a position, or maybe even in the interview. Tomorrow you undoubtedly are going to become, you're all going to become qualified CMAs. So knowing SAP, a little bit of SAP may also be a wonderful advantage for you people. And the institute has done a wonderful thing by giving you an opportunity, right? Now coming back to, somebody is asking me what is a client. Now, I may not see, simply say, it is a very initial and a very basic information, okay, through which your data flows in the SAP system. See this, I gave you an example as to how your reporting hierarchy takes place. Correct? Now, the data flow hierarchy starts from a concept or from a term called as client. I will show you once I get hold of the SAP system. I don't know when we'll all be getting the SAP system, right? So what is a client? Now, as I said, I may not be necessarily as a senior consultant or as a project manager or as a whatever. I may necessarily not be handling one SAP or one project alone. I may be responsible for the SAP side of Measures A Limited, Measures B Limited, Measures C Limited, Measures D Limited. I may be in charge of the n number of SAP systems. So suppose I want to check on one of the SAP systems. How does SAP know that I'm checking for measures A limited? I'm getting into measures B. I'm getting into measures C. I'm getting into measures D. I'm getting into D limited. I'm getting into A limited. I'm getting into the SAP system for C limited. How does the system identify? It is through the client information, what I provide. Now I hope the understanding of client has become easy. I have tried my best to explain theoretically what is a client. OK. The client in SAP has a different meaning from that of the English client. Normally, we refer to customers as our clients. No, in SAP, your client has a different meaning altogether. It's a logical space within the SAP system. Clear? I'll be talking to you more about this when I come back to a specific topic. But for the understanding of the organizational structure for the finance module, please note that client becomes the first and the foremost information. The first and the foremost entity which has to be entered into the SAP system to identify on what you're working on. I hope I'm clear. Right? Now, I also saw another question. What is a company code? Now, I said I'm working on a project for A limited, measures A limited. So A limited is a company. OK, it is governed by some legal rules and regulations laid down by the company's law. Clear? So when I work on a project for SAP project for A limited, I need to build the A limited as a company code in the SAP system. So basically, your company code is a legal entity which you are creating in the SAP environment. Clear? That is all. One more definition which you can add, or one more line what you can add to define a company code is whatever you identify as the company code, it must be independently generate its own financial statements. It should be in a position to generate its balance sheet, its P&L, its trial balance, and whatever may be the other financial information which it has to submit to the governmental agencies. Understood? Shall I pause here for a minute so that you'll be in a position to confirm back whether you have understood this or not? Yes, Concur is associated with SAP. Yes. Yeah, reply, Kunal. That's okay.
Sir, I have already replied
Yeah, I
to
saw that. I
around
saw
20
that.
questions.
Oh, good, Kunal. Thank you.
Most welcome.
I didn't understand this question. Can you please clarify whether the company code be referred to as a unit or as a business segment? See here, the segment has a different meaning in SAP. All right, so please clarify your question. Yeah, Kunal, you can reply, not a problem. Okay, Kunal, I'll take up this question. He has asked whether the business division and company code are the same. Right, I'll take up this question.
Sure, sir, you can explain it.
Now, this leads for me to explain to get into another concept called as segments. Segment or segments. Now, I have A Limited. It is into textile business, let me assume. Okay. This is your company code, Measures A Limited. It is into textile business. Now, let us say it deals with both cloth, ready-mades. It deals with both in ready-mades, men, men and women. Under cloth, you have denim, cotton, men, formals and casuals for both men and women. Clear? Now, what is a segment reporting? Actually, I wanted to avoid this explanation because probably I thought I would take it up when I'm dealing with the management accounting. But since there is a question now, I'm forced to explain what is a segment. Please do not get confused. Now, do you see how I've broken up A Limited's business? I'm into cloth, I'm into textile business. I deal with both cloth and ready-mades. For men, I have both formals and casuals. For women also, I have both formals and casuals. Right? Now, in In this category, I can subdivide half shirt, full arm shirt, right? I can have any number of. So at what exact point am my A Limited wants to report its functions or wants to understand how its business is doing? Do I want my reporting to have only at the cloth and the ready-mades level? Or is it at the denim or the cotton level? Or is it at the men formals, men casuals, or women formals and women casuals level? These are all the business segments. So your company code is not the same as your segments. Your segment is the basic entity from where you start reporting your results. That is what you see in your course content also. Okay, do I go back? Just give me a moment. This is so stupid. Okay. I saw that. Now read this. Segment reporting is a division of a company. Provides insight into different business related results. How is my ready-made men formals doing? How is my ready-made men casuals doing? In casuals, I can have round neck t-shirts or polos, collared t-shirts. So under men casuals, how is my polo t-shirt working? How is my polo t-shirt business doing? In t-shirts, I can have full arm, half arm. So like this, where exactly does the A Limited management wants to have its reporting to start? Where does it want to see the results? Now, are you getting the clarity as to what is a segment and what is a company code? This is what you asked for, right? Have I understood your question correctly? Actually, I wanted to avoid this, but since you came up with a question, I'm answering this. If you have understood, I'll be more than happy. I hope you have understood this question. What is the difference between client and company code? Have I answered that question? A client is the space allotted to a specific user within the respective SAP system. I can be working on A Limited project. I can be working for B Limited. I can be working for C Limited. I can be working for D Limited. I'm talking about the projects. I may be an employee of something. I'm an employee of IBM. I work for A Limited. I work on SAP projects for A Limited, B Limited, C Limited, D Limited. So this is the logical space which identifies on which project I'm working on, which client. Client is not your customer. Client is a logical space within the SAP system which distinguishes that you're working for A Limited, you're working for B Limited project, you're working for C Limited project, you're working for D Limited project. I hope I'm clear. Now your company code is Your A Limited, B Limited, C Limited, D Limited. They are your company codes. I hope I have answered both the questions. Whether the business division and the company code, are they the same? And the difference between the client and the company code. Is that understood? Guys, people who have asked me the question, please let me know if you have understood or not. Only then I can proceed, because these are all the most essential things what you need to understand even before we get into the subject. Of course, we have already got into the subject, but for you to have a clear understanding, I want you to reply back saying whether you have understood, whether I have answered these questions, and if you have understood whatever I have explained. Just answer yes or no, right? If you have understood, say yes. If you have not understood, say no. People who have asked me questions, I'll wait for 2 more minutes. Because this seems to be like a repetition, but students, please get these concepts perfectly well, because these are all your building blocks. Kunal, good explanation about the client, but please ask them if they have understood.
Sure, sir.
Wonderful explanation of what is a client. Thank you, Kunal. Students, have you read Mr. Kunal's answer to what is a client? I will copy this and please answer back whether you have understood or not. In SAP, a client is the highest level organizational unit. Typical technical definition of what is a client, but since I thought probably the technical information would not be understandable at this current moment, I gave you the examples of A Limited, B Limited, C Limited, D Limited, which would have got different SAP systems. Obviously, right? It represents a self-contained environment with its own master data, its configurations, and the user roles. Did you understand what this is? A Limited will have its different master data. B Limited may have its own master data, obviously. C Limited will have its own master data. D Limited will have its own master data and different kinds of users. Can we simultaneously work in various clients at the same time, provided you have two different systems? In one laptop or on one desktop, you cannot have you working on different clients at the same time. You can work only on one client at one point in time. Clear? What is a logical space? Within the SAP system, how the server is being used? How is the server space being used? Is your logical space. A Limited will have its server, B Limited will have its server, C Limited will have its SAP server, D Limited will have its server. And the space what I'm using in their respective servers is the logical space. Why logical? I will tell you more about it when we get into the practical side of SAP. Clear? Understood. Okay. Another explanation on logical space. Please hold on. Okay. Wonderful, wonderful. Wonderful. This is your study content. This is not the PPT. This is your study content. This is on the Enable platform. Kunal, would you be in a position to explain, because they're asking me for the PPT?
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Yeah.
Student, this is your study content which will be available on SAP Enable 1. Might be some student has received the login credential and might some of them has not received. The student who have not received yet, just email this query to skilltraining@icmai.in.
Students, did you understand what Mr. Kunal? This is the one moment, just a moment. This is not a PPT. This is your study content, which is available to you on the Enable platform. And to get hold of this course content, you need to have received an email having your own user IDs and your passwords for your Enable. Clear? And Mr. Kunal just shared a email which you will have to write a mail to in case you have not received these credentials. So did you understand what is segment? I would not spend more time on this because these things come at a later point in time. But what I want you to understand is what a company code is. More importantly, what is a company code? Client also hold it for some time. OK, you need not have to understand what is a legal space and you have time for all that. OK. I will definitely show you all these things at the appropriate time. But you, or rather, we have assembled here to learn more and more about the finance side of SAP. And it becomes very, very important for you to understand what you mean by company code. Because I'll be getting into one other explanation. See, the company code was the third or the fourth point what we discussed. And the first point was the client. Now, what is number 2 and 3? I will tell you. So that could lead to a lot more confusions. So that is why I'm pausing in between so that the understanding becomes very, very clear. So with an assumption that you have all understood whatever you have, this I can make it as 0.4 also. Shall I proceed? Yeah, sure. Now, when you talk about a complex project like that of, let us say, you have received a request for implementing SAP for Reliance or for Tata's. Is the Reliance or the Tata's business small or big? It is huge. It is not even big, it is huge. Because these two people, they are into every business, every business. You agree with me? Yeah. Now, let us take a structure, something like this. You have Reliance, correct? What do you have here? Let us say you have Jio, Smart, I'm just taking a few things. OK. So Reliance is into Jio, Smart, Reliance Smart, Reliance Trends, Insurance, Reliance Petro, whatever. Now, Jio can produce its own results, can generate its own balance sheet. Reliance Smart can produce its own balance sheet. Reliance Trends can produce its own balance sheet. Insurance business can produce its own balance sheet and other financial statements. Petro business of Reliance, or whatever may be the other consumer business, whatever you may call. So all these are able to generate their own business statements, financial statements. You agree with me? Jio has its own balance sheet. Smart has its own balance sheet. Perfect. Now, what do these companies do? What do these do? Jio, Smart, Trends, Reliance Insurance, Reliance Petro, Reliance Consumers, whatever. What do they do? They report their results back to the head office. What is the head office? Reliance Group. Yeah. So you have all these entities, your Jio, Smart, Trends, Insurance, Consumer, Petro, whatever. You're having this under one parent. Your Reliance Group is the parent. All these at this level, they constitute the company codes because they are able to generate their own independent financial statements. Okay. So they're all your company codes. Understood? This is your parent company. This is your head office. You may call it the head office, you may call it the parent company, you may call it the group company, whatever. By whatever name you are comfortable with, you may call the parent. Now, what is this concept called in SAP or rather in accounting? Consolidation. Consolidation. Now, at this level, Reliance parent level, at this parent level, what is happening? It is consolidating the results of all this company codes. At the parental level, whenever Mr. Mukesh Ambani wants to declare the results of the Reliance Group, does he report the business of only Jio or only of Smart or only of Trends? He reports the results of all the businesses of Reliance. Are you getting my point? So this is called as the consolidation. How is Mr. Mukesh Ambani getting the results of all his businesses? Because all the businesses are reporting back to him. They are reporting back to the Reliance parent. I hope you're getting the business picture now. So in SAP, so what is this Reliance called in SAP? This group, I'm talking about the mother company. This is called as, I'll make it number 3. This is called as the company. It is not the company code. It is called as the company. Your parent office, your head office, or your group company is called as the company. All other businesses which report back to the group company, they are referred to as your company codes. For example, if you take Tata's, TCS is a software business of Tata's. It is reporting back to Tata and Sons. Your car, automotive, it's reporting back to the Tata Group, Tata and Sons. Your AIG, Tata Insurance, it is reporting back to Tata Group. Correct? Do you agree with me? Did you understand the business? Forget SAP. Forget SAP at all. Don't bother about SAP. These concepts are there even with or without SAP. This is all happening out of SAP also or outside SAP also.
From Delhi to Britain, Bengal family into Bangladesh.
I hope you have understood these points. So we will stop here for the day. And for 2 or 3 more minutes, let me take up a few questions from your side. Is it sounding interesting, students? Do you see how things are changing in SAP? So now you have 2 different terminologies to deal with. What is a company and what is a company code? Take a breather for 2 minutes. In the meantime, if anybody has any questions, you're most welcome to ask. But students, these concepts are very, very critical for you to know the subject. Again, I repeat, to know the subject. Mastery is something different. As I said, none of us can be masters in SAP. Clear? Let us have that. If you say, I know everything in SAP, most of them will not accept that answer. All right. So let us try to understand. OK, but have you understood these concepts? Again, tomorrow, I will start as usual by just revising. Now do you see how closely it is getting connected to the real business scenarios? All I wanted you to do is understand this and always think of SAP from the practical business. So Tata company was there even with or without SAP, right? So whatever is happening in the real business is being converted into SAP. That is all. Good. It's getting interesting. Thank you. Very nice. Lovely. It is applied strategically at all levels. Please clarify your question tomorrow. Okay. One Rohit Roy, he has asked me whether.
I have put it in a public section, sir. Tomorrow we will take it that.
Sure, sure. So shall we wind up, Kunal?
Sure, sir. Thank you, student, for today's session. Right now we are winding up the session, and tomorrow again we will meet at 11 o'clock for the next session.
Thank you, students. Bye bye.